You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310 and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 26th day of February, 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. It will also give you access to the chat box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Also, you'll get an email each day right before the show starts, reminding you the show's about to start. And in that email is a link that you click, and that allows you to join with one-click access. On the days you're out of your office, away from your desktop, not to worry. Point any internet-connected browser to cfrn.net/live. There you'll find a live, real-time simulcast of the show as it unfolds, You just won't have access to the chat box. We also stream live during this broadcast each day at youtube.com/CFRN. We record each show, and so along with the live broadcast each day, on the days that perhaps you missed the show, we archive every show. We currently have over 1,600 daily live broadcasts archived at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. Now, if you happen to be listening to this after the fact as a podcast and you would like to be able to see the charts, just hit pause on your podcast player, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and point your browser to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN, and find the corresponding date of the podcast you are listening to, and just click that link, and you'll have the benefit of both audio and video. Now, if you're driving or operating heavy machinery, you should probably stick with just the audio, but otherwise it'll be a much more enjoyable experience if you're able to see what we're talking about. Now, today's a big day for us here at CFRN. As you know, for the past couple months, we've been talking about a cryptocurrency called G999 or G999. Today, at the top of the hour, 1 p.m. Eastern, roughly 50 minutes from now, we've got some of the trade leaders in the G999 universe joining us. Teresa, Arturo, Garth, Eugene, Bruce from the official Price Maker channel. He may be joining us as well. We're going to have a bit of a roundtable discussion because we've been working towards a goal, and March 1st, the winner of the World Bets contest will be revealed, and that means big things potentially for G999. So, with that said, now if you're listening to this after the fact and you want to just fast forward to the second hour of the broadcast, you can certainly do that, or you can enjoy the first hour of the broadcast. Okay, let's open with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you today for your blessings, for your mercy, and for your grace. We thank you for every seat that has been filled here today for this broadcast, for each mind and heart that fills the presence of this room. We thank you. Only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish today. We have an idea, a vision, hence you give us daily instructions. We have talents, abilities, and time to work. However, only you, God, can see in perfect detail the end of every beginning, every project, every season, every life. Nothing is ever in vain, for even mistakes and missteps are used for good for those who love you and are called according to your purpose. Your righteousness transcends all of our efforts and understanding. God, we ask that you strengthen our confidence in who you have made us to be. Set us free from comparison in order to work together efficiently. We ask that you bless this broadcast today, all those present right now, as well as the lives of those that we will encounter afterward. Ready us now to make every moment count. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Let me give you the numbers from around the world real quick, and then Michael will jump in and he'll give us a recap of everything that happened this morning in our live training room. We have a live training room that's open every trading day from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Michael is there teaching our methodology, our strategy, how to use our indicators. Now, these are the numbers from around the world. Again, these are the cash markets, the indices. The Dow currently down 157 points. The NASDAQ up 215. That's a gain of 1.5%. S&P 500 up 22. and the Russell 2000 up 7.5. In the commodity basket, crude oil down $1.24, trading 62.29 last, and that's a drop of almost 2%. Gold down $56.40, trading 17.19 last. That's a drop of a little over 3%. Silver down $1.39, trading 26.29 last. That's a drop of 5%. And for those of you that might be new to silver, okay, when you hold a 1 ounce silver coin in your hand, if the price goes from $25 to $26, you just made a buck. If the price goes from $25 to $24, you lost a buck. But with a futures contract, it's quite a bit different. The large silver contract, when price moves $1 from $26 to $27, that has a value of $5,000. A $1 move in silver has a value of $5,000, and that pendulum swings both ways. Silver is volatile, the margins are high. Be careful trading silver futures. But again, today we're down $1.39. So fast math in my head, I don't do math in public, but that's got to be $6,000–7,000. Okay, that's with one futures contract. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei down. I don't know that I've seen. I probably have. The Nikkei finished the session down 1,202 points. That's a drop of 4%. The Shanghai fell 75 points. That's a drop of over 2%. The Hang Seng fell 1,093 points. That's a drop of over 3.5%. In the European markets at the close, FTSE down 168 points, 2.5%. The DAX fell 93. The CAC dropped 80. And that's a drop of 1.5%. So we have and Valerie just notified me that we need to roll silver today to the next contract. So we'll talk about that when we get into the charts. So we have a red day in Asia. We had a red day in the UK. And so far, it's a mixed radio Friday here in the US of A. With the Dow in the red, the NASDAQ solidly in the green, approaching almost a 2% gain. S&P 500 in the green, and the Russell 2000 in the green by about 0.5%. So the only laggard at this point is the Dow, currently down 122 points. So with that now, we'll switch over to Michael, and he'll give us a recap of everything that happened this morning in the live training room. You'll get an idea, a feel, a flavor for what we do every day from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern, every trading day. After that, I'll come back and we'll quickly go over the Logic 247 alerts from the last 24 hours. We'll go over the concierge trade alerts. By then, it will be the top of the hour, and we'll open up the mics of our guests who are joining us today, the trade leaders who've come to talk about G999 and the contest that ends March 1st in World Bets. Okay, Michael, if you're ready, take it away.
Okay. Here we go. Bring it over here. There we go.
Alrighty.
Right.
I've got you locked and loaded. I'll hit mute on my end, and it's all yours.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 26th day of February, 2021. It's the last trading day. Not counting cryptocurrencies. It's the last trading day of the month of February. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at cfrn.net. Scroll down to the center of the page here. It says free 5-day trial, no credit card required. Click on that and you'll be brought to this page. All we ask for on this page is your name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on that link. Okay, if you don't click the link, we don't know that you took the free trial, so you got to click on that link. All right. All right. So let's get into the actual trades. Now today I was having a really good morning, and so I spent the last, 40, 45 minutes just focusing on one market today. Okay. So if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you read all the Cftc risk disclosures down at the bottom. You know I have to say that. Today is the 26th day of February, as I said, 2021. Today I made 20 ticks in crude, 81 ticks in gold, and 70 ticks on the ES. Put us at plus $1,885 a contract on the morning session. Today it took 2 minutes and one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 25 trades this morning. So we're going to end the month of February up $17,150 per contract. That is one contract, 2 hours per day. Now, these are unprecedented times. You know, I've been saying that for a year now, ever since the election started last year, you know, since stuff really started rolling about a year ago, and COVID all at the same time. Unprecedented times. Plus $17,150 on the month. So, well, that's how we're going to end it for the room. That's over 18 trading days, averaging $952 per contract per 2 hour trading day. You know, the last 40 minutes today, I wasn't messing around. I was really trying to tell everybody what I thought was going on. And you know, I thought, I know that people like it when I do that, when I take a lot more time, so I focus just on gold. Now I'll get into all that in just a minute. But so far on the year, 37 out of 38 days, we've gotten our goal for the day. And on the year right now, we're up $31,485 per contract. That's over 38 trading days. We are now averaging $828 per contract per 2 hour trading day. Okay. All right. So you can see I had gold blown up here. We'll get into that last. All right. We'll start here with crude oil. In crude, we just had a couple of trades today. 2 nice trades, 10 tick wins. One right there, plus 10. We missed the follow-up trade there. There was a short here that I missed. Break even right there, and then a 10 tick trade right there. Okay. Did we have some more trades? Yeah, we did, but I started focusing just in gold toward the end here. So there was a long trade right here, another one there. And then it got really choppy in here. And then you get into the break, and there really wasn't anything here trying to break. A long right here that would have been a break-even trade, and then just chop. Okay, that was crude. Now the ES, we had some nice trades on. I'm gonna have to do this to get back to the beginning of the ES here. All right, so our first trade on the ES was right here. We picked up 8 ticks on that one. And then we went a while before we got our next trade, because they had to restart DT Pro again. We had a shorting opportunity there that I missed, along there that I missed. Both of those really nice trades, and did exactly what I thought they were going to do. A nice trade there that I missed. Then finally picked up a trade here. We picked up 10 ticks on that to put us at plus 18. Missed a trade, missed a trade, missed a trade. I was really trying to go through everything that Dom was saying and reading it all for everyone when it was happening. And this one right here, when we got into it, now my original target was down, I think it was like right down here. And then as it was going down, I saw that, you know, the target area kept getting better and better and better, and I kept pushing it down and pushing it down. And we ended up getting 24 ticks on that trade. So we're plus 42 at that point. And then, see, we're going into the low of the day right here. So some of these, that in hindsight, they look like trade setups, and they were actual trade setups, but they were going into the low of the day, so I had a little more risk. There was a shorting opportunity here that we missed, and this was all before 10 o'clock. So we were plus 42 before 10 o'clock. In our next big trade, we missed that one. We missed that one. Got a couple of break-even trades right in there. And I know we had a big trade. Here it is. We missed that one there, but we grabbed this for 28 ticks. That put us at plus 70 on the morning session. Okay, and that was another one that just kept going down and down and down. And, you know, once we got down to 28 ticks, I had my target down there at 3,800 even. And, you know, I saw it going down. I saw the big number down there at 3,800. I just put the target down there, and it took me out at 3,800. Had I not put a target there, it would have kept going down and down because all of this happened so fast. And I know a lot of guys in the room this morning took advantage of that trade. Okay, so then we got into the area where I wasn't really looking at the ES anymore. There was some nice YBR trades in here, and I did a little bit on the YBR trades this morning too, in the session this morning. There was some nice YBR trades, and you know, our regular trade setups were happening in here. But at that point, I had really gotten into the gold. So let me get into the gold right now. Okay, here we go. Our first trade on gold was right in here. We picked up 10 ticks on the first trade. Okay, then there was a long trade right in here that took off, another one and another one. I missed all of those because, again, I had to redo DT Pro. I missed that one and that one and that one and that one and that one. I was talking about stuff at the time. That's why I missed those. Okay, and it just kept going down and down. We picked up a couple of ticks here, put us at plus 12. Then a couple more. We missed that one, but we picked up a couple more here to put us at plus 2. We didn't miss it, but we got a break even. We got plus 2 there, then another plus 2 there. At this point, we're at plus 16. Then we finally had a nice trade here, and that put us at plus 30. So we got 14 ticks on this to put us at plus 30. And 4 ticks here to put us at plus 36. Then 15 ticks here to put us at plus 51. We missed that trade, and it looks like we missed a trade in here, right in here. And, you know, more trades in here. We grabbed right here from 51, we went up to 56, so we got 5 ticks there. We missed that trade and that trade. So this, we were talking about it going down, and it went down really quick, and then it got into some nastiness right here. Moved back up really fast. Then right here we picked up, what did we get there? 20 ticks to put us at plus 76. Then 4 ticks to put us at plus 80. Yeah, then 9 ticks to put us at plus 89. Then there was something else in here to get us to plus 101. And then once we got to 101, that's when I started doing the stuff in the room with everybody, going over the trade setups as I was seeing them on the DOM and as I was seeing them on the charts. And we actually got to a point where the charts got stuck, but the DOMs were still going. So I was just reading it from the DOMs. But this is all before that. We stopped out here, minus 8 ticks, stopped us out pretty much to the tick, but gave a nice YBR short trade. Nice YBR short trade there. We missed that one. There was, you know, the cycle was going up a little steep here. It would have been a break-even trade had we taken it. But we did stop out on that one, and then we had a break even. We picked up a little profit on that. That was to get us, you know, after the 2 stop outs, we were down to 85. Then this got us back up to 89. Then we had a break even there. Actually, the stop outs got us, we're at 101. We got down to 93. Then it gets kind of, okay, then we got down to 85, and then went back up to 89, and then we went back down to 81. So somewhere in here right at the end, yeah, there was a stop out right here, pretty much to the tick. And then I had a couple of things happen in this period right here, and I couldn't do anything. And I came back and I put on this trade right here where I picked up, what did I get, 22.1. I think I got 15 ticks or 13 ticks or something like that on that trade. But that was during the break. I actually put that one on. We still had people in the room watching. But then we get into the break, and there were some trades in here during the break, right here. Then it turned around and it started going back up, and there were some opportunities in here and here. And it just kept going. Gold was pretty wild today. And so we had a lot of opportunity. And so early on, I wanted to, you know, once we got way up on the day, I said, once we get over 100 ticks per contract, either on gold or on the ES, whichever was going to happen first, I was going to stop and slow down and stick to just one market. And so we did that today, which was a little bit different. And Val made a recording of it. And for those of you guys who are partners or passport holders, she broke it down into a couple of different sections today, and she put it out into the CFRN weekly workshop Telegram channel. So if you want to go and take a look at that, you can go take a look at that today. All right. So let me go back over here into the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you're reading all the Cftc risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the last day of February 2021. And we made 20 ticks in crude, 81 ticks in gold, and 70 on the ES. That put us up $1,885 a contract on the morning session. Today it took 2 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 25 trades. So on the month now, we're up $17,150 a contract. That's over 18 trading days, averaging $952 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year so far, we've made our goal on 37 out of 38 days, and that's just within the 2-hour session. Okay, on the year now, we're at $31,485. That is for 1 contract, 2 hours per hour. 2 hours per day, averaging $828 per contract per 2-hour trading day on the year. All right, now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go to the homepage at cfrn.net, scroll down to where it says free 5-day trial, no credit card required. Click on that, you'll be brought here to this page, eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all you need to do is tell us your name, your email, and your phone number. You can know the biggest trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button, be sent a confirmation link. You must click on that confirmation link, okay? If you don't click that link, we don't know that you took the trial. All right, that's it. With that, we can pass it back on to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Blaine, if you are ready to take it back. Okay. All right.
That mic open, and then I'll grab the charts. And there we are. So, almost there. One more click. There it comes. All right. Recap of the recap.
Today it took 2 minutes and 1 trade to get to $100 per contract.
Good job. Once again.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so, guys, that's a little bit of how we roll. We spend 2 hours a day, every trading day, from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern, where Michael is putting on, taking off trades, explaining our methodology, our strategy, our principles. Everything we do is based on logic, and it's all very simple. Okay? I know that a lot of trading methodologies are very complicated and convoluted, and not to mention expensive. And it kind of, maybe you never really fully get your arms all the way around it because there's always something new. We haven't changed a thing in over 8 years. Not a line of code in our simple, humble indicators. Not a rule to our strategy. Because if it's not broke, leave it alone. And so, as you can see, what Michael just showed you, that was everything that happened in the room this morning. Now, stop outs, we don't sweep those under the carpet if things don't go the way we thought they might. We're not ashamed of that or embarrassed by that. That's the truth about trading. You will get stopped out if you trade. The only way to not get stopped out is to stop trading. Getting stopped out is as much a part of trading as breathing is a part of life. Unfortunately, as you can see on my screen, 9 out of 10 new traders fail. Part of the reason is that they spend all of their time and treasure buying stuff, trying to find a way to never get stopped out. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't exist. There's no indicator, no oscillator, no algorithm, no guru, no crystal ball that can stop you from getting stopped out. Now, you can also try to learn how to trade by just watching people trade or watching videos of people trade, but I promise you, you'll never learn how to trade that way. The only way to learn how to trade is by trading. It's just like swimming. You can watch videos of people swimming for a year, but if you get in the pool without any floaties you're going to sink because you don't know how to swim. The only way to learn how to swim is to get in the pool. Now, all of our new members get a demo account, a simulator. This allows you to trade live in real time with current price, action, activity, but you got floaties, just like when you're learning to swim. Because in the demo account, no matter how many mistakes you make, you don't lose any real money. When you become a member at CFRN, a passport holder, as we call it, the passport is access, an all-access pass to everything we do, everything we offer. We're not the folks with the endless upsells, and when you have a problem, you got to buy this new thing. That insults your intelligence, and we chose not to be those people. So the passport, it's $5,000, okay? To be exact, it's $49.97. I'm supposed to wait to the end. I'm supposed to build you up into a fever pitch like some kind of revival meeting before I lower the boom. But the people who do that are trying to justify what they charge. We feel no need to justify anything, because at that price, we think it's not only an incredible bargain, but it's also an incredible bargain because you don't ever have to buy anything else. Imagine a world where you don't have to buy more trading stuff. Now, our methodology and strategy is super simple, and it's not based on any kind of magic or Wall Street secrets. The only Wall Street secret is that there is no secret. Price travels from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance in a never-ending cycle, over and over, again and again. It has since the inception of the markets, and it will continue to do so until the markets cease to exist. And we keep it that simple. Now, I'll be honest, the reason some folks make it seem super complicated is because every time you have an issue or a problem, that's an opportunity to sell you more trading stuff. Another set of videos, some different indicators. Yeah, we don't have any upsells. So if we were getting graded on our, marketing strategy, we would get an F. We would fail because we do everything exactly the opposite of the way everybody else does it. We just tell you the truth up front, and that's the truth about trading. Okay, so now, along with Michael training you for 2 hours each day in the room to learn the strategy, we also provide alerts around the clock. The Globex markets open Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. We are futures traders, not stock traders. So the Globex market opens Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, stays open around the clock till Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. So our Telegram channel, the alert channel, opens for business every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. We also provide around-the-clock support for all of our members. We have a Telegram discussion group that's open 24/7, 365. So when you have an issue or a question or a problem, as opposed to filling out a support ticket and waiting days for somebody to reply, you just pop into the discussion group and ask the question. You'll find tons of our traders in there. They've all learned the same method, the same strategy. We all speak the same language. And they can answer your question just as well as I or Michael can in most cases. Okay? Because we keep it simple. So around the clock support, 365, live training every day. And the alerts that we send out, these are real-time examples of windows of opportunity in the market, so that you can go and practice what you've learned in the room. Now, you're going to stay in that simulator until you put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. Once you accomplish that, our little blueprint, it's called the 2420 Blueprint, it's designed to help you go from 1 to 20 contracts over a period of 24 months. Once you put together your 10 consecutive days in a row in the simulator, the blueprint will give you the green light to go live with one contract. Now that you're trading real money, your goal is to increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you do that, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract. Now, the big difference between the first contract and the second contract first contract comes out of your pocket, your savings, but the second contract, you're adding that with profits you earned in the market trading one contract. The blueprint will then tell you when it's time to add number 3, number 4, number 5, but you only add one at a time at the appropriate time, and you only add additional contracts with profit you earned in the market. Following the blueprint this way makes it very difficult for you to blow up another account. I'm not going to say you can't blow up an account with us, but you will have to break a lot of rules in order to do so. Once you go live, if you have 2 days in a row back to back where you don't reach your goal in 10 trades or less, then the blueprint's going to direct you to come out of the live account back into the simulator, immediately book a one-on-one personal mentoring session with myself, Michael, Valerie, Bert, all of us. We will walk through your trades with you and help you pinpoint whatever happened. Was it something that perhaps you missed? Maybe the market conditions were just not suitable for trading at the time you put on some of those trades. And then once we help you figure out what happened, you'll spend a couple more days in sim just to get your confidence back, and then you go back live right where you left off. You don't have to start all over again. Now, in the room, you heard Michael talk about reaching the goal in, I think it was 1 minute or 2 minutes or so. In the room, the daily goal, I'm sorry, how much?
Today was 2 minutes. Today was 2
minutes. Okay. Now, it's not a race, okay? We're not in a rush. It takes as long as it takes each day to reach your daily goal. 2 points in the S&P pays $100 per contract traded. If you like to trade crude or gold, we use the same method, same strategy, same indicators. It's 8 ticks in the S&P. It's 10 ticks in crude, 10 ticks in gold, 20 in the Dow, because the Dow pays $5 a point, S&P pays $50 a point or $12.50 a tick. Crude and gold pay $10 a tick. So you're probably thinking, well, that sounds great, but $100 a day won't pay my bills. Well, remember, once you go live, the blueprint's going to give you the green light to add a second contract once you've increased your account balance by $2,000. So, using the S&P as an example, the same 2 points that have been making you $100 a day now make you $200 a day. And when you get the green light to add a third contract, the same 2 points now makes you $300 a day. And by the time you get to 5 contracts, once you've earned the right to trade 5 contracts, the same 2 points makes you $500 a day. And by the time you earn the right to trade 10 contracts, that's $1,000 a day. And believe it or not, that puts you in the top 3% of wage earners worldwide. Obviously, if this were easy, everybody would do it. But let me tell you, trading's not easy, but it can be simple. Michael and I have worked together very hard since 2006 to break it all down to the lowest common denominator with no parlor tricks, no magic, no smoke and mirrors, to make it as absolutely simple as we possibly can. Now, we have 2 types of alerts for you to practice on what you learn in the room. The first alerts that I'm going to show you are the Logic 247 alerts. They're called that because everything we do is based on logic, not a secret, and the alerts come out around the clock 24/7 because futures markets are open around the clock and we have traders around the world. We're currently in week 100 and this up here, I found this last night and I sent it to my son. The 40 best movies on Netflix you've probably never seen. So something to watch this weekend. But we're in week 134 of Logic 247. So far this week, since Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued 84 alerts. That's 84 opportunities for you to go to your chart and practice what Michael teaches you in the room. Of the 84, 11 never triggered. That gave us 73 actionable alerts. Of those 73, 8 stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, based on market structure and a very simple 3-step method that we teach all of our traders. And so with 8 out of 53 stopping out, that's 11% of the actionable alerts this week stopped out. That's not a typical number. Over the last 134 weeks, we've averaged 20% of actionable alerts being stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible. Now let me show you exactly what those alerts look like. Okay. So let me scroll to the top here. Back to Sunday night. Still scrolling. A lot of alerts this week. It's been a very busy week, as Michael said earlier. Unprecedented times. It's a beautiful time to be a trader. So, week 134. This past Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, we had 2 alerts that carried over from the previous week. Okay? So this was alert number 6,551. ES, that's the S&P 500 E-mini Futures. The way you read the alert here is to be short at a price of $38.88 with an initial target of $38.86. That's those 2 points, that $100 per contract, right? And then the second target, or potential support, remember this is a short trade, so price is falling. Initial target, second target, third target, final trade to target. An alert always has a final trade to target. We have what are called our weekly trading zones, and you'll see those in just a moment when I bring up the charts. If it's a short trade, then the final target is the weekly trading zone below. If it's a long trade, or if you're buying the market as opposed to selling it, then the final trade to target is the weekly trading zone above. On this particular alert, from the entry to the swing low, it was worth $1,337.50 per contract traded. Now, once you've earned the right to trade 2 contracts, that would become $2,600. By the time you earn the right to trade 4 contracts, that alert would pay for your passport. This is the NQ. This carried over also from last week. Okay, that one was worth $170 per contract traded. And then this was the first alert that came out Sunday night. Alert number 6,565. It was a gap fill trade on the S&P to be short at 39.03. Initial target 39.01. Potential support 3900. Gap fill on the Dow, short. Initial target. Okay. With futures, we don't see gaps very often. Sunday night, we do usually see gaps, and those are very high probability, low risk trades. The reason we don't see gaps in futures is because futures trade around the clock. When you trade the Wall Street session and it ends in America at 4 p.m. Eastern, that's American traders, US traders, they stop trading stocks then. But then Globex opens, and then Asia opens, and so all the traders in Asia, they begin buying and selling stocks, and the futures market tracks the buying and selling of stocks in Asia. Then at 3 a.m. Eastern, London opens, so now futures are tracking the buying and selling of stocks in the UK. And then at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, Wall Street opens, and futures continue to track the buying and selling of stocks in the US. So futures track stocks, not the other way around. Sometimes people get that misunderstanding because of the name futures. Okay, so the stocks are going to follow the futures. No. Futures are a reflection of the buying and selling of stocks. So the third alert that came out Sunday night was for the Russell to be long, buy, got stopped out. This was a gap fill on the Russell to be short. It's worth $185 per contract traded. Here was an NQ gap filled to be short, $680 per contract traded. This is crude oil to be long. There's the entry, initial target, second target, PRs, potential resistance, third target, final trade to target. $240 per contract traded is what that alert was worth. Here's a long on gold, buy, initial target, second target, third target, final target, $430. This was a gap fill on silver, which we will be rolling over today to the next contract. And this was a hedge on silver. The beautiful thing about futures is you can be long or short in the same session, even in the same hour, if that's what the chart tells you to do. So we had a short on silver that reached its target, and then the market turned and gave us a long trade that reached the target. Short on the Dow, long on the Russell, short on the NQ. And when you see these Z's, okay, that means that trade never triggered. We were looking to buy 27.69, but price never made it up to the trigger at 27.69. The red, now that finished Sunday night. Everything you just saw happened Sunday night, while most traders are waiting for either the London Open or the Wall Street Open. We go to work Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. And this takes us into Monday, okay, and so I won't go through each and every one of these, but these alerts are available for anybody to see, to look at. When you take our trial, you have full access to everything we do. We treat you, if you're on the trial, just like a member for 5 trading days. At the end of 5 trading days, after you've had access to our platform and charts and indicators and strategy and alerts, you get to make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not our community is right for you. If not, we hope to remain friends. We hope you'll still come and join us for the live broadcast each afternoon. If you decide it's exactly what you've been looking for, that you're tired of having to buy just more trading stuff, then hopefully you'll make a home here with us. Now, let's jump real quick to a daily chart of the S&P. Okay. This is the all-time historic intraday high, put in on February 16th. On February 15th, this is very interesting. Wall Street was closed this day because of President's Day. We put in a new all-time historic closing high on a day Wall Street was closed. The following day, we put in a higher high, and so we have a new intraday high in the S&P 500. But this is also a bearish engulfing candle. What that means is the high of this day is higher than the previous day. The low of this day is lower than the low of the previous day. And so price retraces. See, price has found resistance here. The all-time historic intraday high, 39.59 Why was that the high? Here's the simple truth. Nobody was willing to pay $39.59. If there was even one person with one contract willing to pay $39.59, we would have ticked up. But there wasn't. And so we come back to this green line, which we call the BBC. It stands for Bull Bear Cross. Okay? See, our indicators are just so simple and so logical. When price is above that green line, we're bullish. We anticipate higher prices. When price gets below it, we're bearish. We anticipate lower prices. On November 4th, we got back above the BBC. And we had a leg and a retracement and a leg and a retracement and a leg and a retracement. And here's a day where we spiked below that BBC, bull bear cross. But before the session ended, buyers came in and ran it all the way back up above the BBC. So price finds resistance. It goes and looks for support. Resistance, back to support. Resistance, back to support. Resistance, back to support. That's how price flows. Now, you may have heard this said before, that markets are fractal in nature, but maybe you didn't get a good explanation of what that means. Price flows on a daily chart exactly the same as it flows on a 1-minute chart, a 30-minute chart, a 27-minute chart, a volume chart, a range chart. That's how price flows. That's what it means when you hear markets are fractal in nature. Okay? So once we put in this high resistance, price is going to go look for support. When price drops to the BBC, we expect that to be good support until proven otherwise. And so we spiked it but closed above it. The next day we spiked it and came all the way down to the 50% Fibonacci price retracement of this last leg up. Now, this low that was put in back here on October 30th, from that low to the high put in on February 16th, this is the 24% Fibonacci price extension. So I've got two sets of fib retracements, the entire move and then just this last leg. Well, when we got below the BBC, we hit the 50% retracement of the last leg up, and we bounced all the way back above the BBC. The following session, we continued to rally until we ran into red and falling. Now, this indicator, it's called the CFMA1. I refer to it as simply blue and climbing, red and falling. Blue and climbing is bullish or support. Red and falling is bearish or resistance. So price runs up to red and falling. The session opens. Buyers try to take us higher, but they fail. Price got to 39.34.5 because nobody was willing to pay 39.34.75. So in effect, buyers stopped buying. And when buyers stop buying, price starts to deteriorate. And when that happens, sellers pile in. They smell blood in the water. And look what they did. They took us back down to that 50% fib retracement again. Okay? And then we bounced. Last night in our Thursday night workshop, we hold a workshop, members only, every Thursday night for our members. We were sitting right on top of the 50% Fibonacci price extension. And so price, it was a red candle, okay, because the market opened here, traded down. We were sitting right here. I said, guys, if this 50% fib gives away, then the next logical place for the market to find support will be at the 24% fib of the entire move up. And look what happened. We came down, we touched that 24% fib, and price has bounced from the low of that candle was 37.85, and we're sitting up at 38.20 right now. You know, roughly 45 points at $50 a point. The big question that we're faced with now is, will buyers be committed enough to their positions to drive us back above the BBC? This little black line is called the step line. Red and falling. Take out this high to get to the all-time historic high. Okay? Price is always on a mission. And we teach you how to read the chart like a newspaper, like a mystery novel. And as you begin to understand how price flows, you're able to develop your own narrative and solve the mystery. Okay? So we know that right now we've got resistance overhead at today's high, and we're sitting right at this 38% Fibonacci retracement of the last leg up. Below us, we've got potential support at the 50, and then, of course, at today's low. All right, now that's a high altitude look. We don't trade off the daily chart, but we start with the daily chart every day just to get the lay of the land. We need to know where major resistance and major support is. The alerts are based on 30-minute charts, okay? And so, last night, during our workshop, price had pulled up to the BBC. Now, everything we do and teach is fluid across all markets and all time frames. So everything I just explained about that daily chart, it's true on the 30-minute, or a 5-minute, or a 1-minute. This is the S&P, but it would be the same on crude, gold. And after we talk to our guests today, and I'm going to start opening their mics here in about a minute, once we finish talking with them, and Valerie just notified me they are in, so we'll start opening their mics and let them introduce themselves. But when we're done talking with them today, feel free to stick around, because I'm going to go through and I'm going to recap all of the alerts from the past 24 hours. But as price found support at our weekly zone, it bounced up to resistance at the BBC. Resistance sent us back to support. Support sent us back to resistance. Back to support. Back to resistance. Back to support. Back to resistance. This candle was just starting to build last night in the workshop, and so we outlined this trade. 38.36 to 38.34 to 38.22 to 38.09 to the weekly trading zone. And there's a very good reason for each of those. And I did a breakout session this morning, and we recorded that video, and I'll be posting that later today on the YouTube channel. So for those of you that weren't there, you can get an understanding of why that was the initial target, the second target, the third target, and the final trade 2 target, the weekly trading zone. Okay? All right. It's top of the hour. So again, after we finish talking with our guests about G999, if you want to stick around, I'll be covering all of the alerts, the logic, the concierge, and of course answering any questions that you may have. So with that, let me start opening up some mics here. Okay, Arturo, I'm going to open up your mic. Now, Arturo, it looks like you're muted on your end, so you'll need to unmute your mic.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Dwayne. Thanks so much for inviting me on.
Absolutely. I'm honored that you were able to take time out of your busy schedule to come and join us. As I'm opening the other guest mics, maybe you can just give us a little background on yourself and your interest in cryptocurrencies, and then we'll talk about how you became a part of the G999 community. So just take a few minutes and introduce yourself.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, I live in the United States. I live in the state of New Mexico. I've been living here for about 21 years, but I was born in Mexico, in the state of Chihuahua. And here at when I graduated high school here in Santa Fe, I didn't necessarily was a fan of the school system, so I decided to look outside, and I came across different network marketing opportunities, and that's where my mindset started to shift towards an entrepreneurial journey with more options out there than you can perceive, from what you hear in school and stuff. So I started meeting different people with success in the network marketing arena, and started gaining experience throughout the years, joined different companies, had a little bit of success here and there, and more recently, about 2 years ago, I turned 26, and a company where I had I want to say the most success that I've had in a network marketing company.
Mm-hmm.
I met some incredible people, and I was introduced to the cryptocurrency market, right? And ever since then, I just been so passionate and just the technology, the blockchain technology, it fascinates me so much, and what it can do to basically any industry. The blockchain to me has been changing, and with G999, I'm super excited as more development comes into place with our blockchain.
And I think that's an important thing for folks to understand with G999 is that it's not built on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's not built on the Ethereum blockchain. G999, it's just so easier to say it that way. It is its own blockchain.
Correct. It's its own blockchain, which is an open source blockchain. So anybody that wants to develop an app and use our deflationary model, for example, they can very well build any financial ecosystem within their own decentralized app.
Now, are you comfortable trying to explain to the folks what the deflationary model is?
Yeah, it's actually very simple, and it's very brilliant in the sense that simplicity, but yet so efficient. It's quite brilliant what the G999 team development team has put in place. And what the deflationary model is, with the 4,000 nodes and with the staking that is done with the blockchain, we are minting coins every block, right? So we're minting 570 G999 coins per block. Now, with the services and products that are already in place, every time we use these services, a certain amount of coins are being burnt. So the term burnt basically means that they cease to exist from the circulating supply. So what does this mean? The more services and the more products that are developed through the G999 blockchain, the more coins that are going to be burned. So to any long-term investor, that's a really good way of knowing that in the future, by diversity alone in the G999 asset, that'll make the G999 a more valuable asset. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I think that's a beautiful explanation of exactly what that is. Now, I also see that Eugene, we've got your mic open. Eugene, welcome to the show. And can you hear me, Eugene?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Welcome to the show. And perhaps you can give us a little introduction to yourself and how you came to be involved with G999. Now, our first guest said that he came from the world of network marketing and got acquainted with the cryptocurrency world and G999. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved.
Sure, no problem. So, for everyone out there, basically, I am fully employed. I do a lot of trading and network marketing on the sideline. Okay, so making a little bit of extra income there. And that's kind of how it started initially. Okay, so I was introduced into a company that actually started with Bitcoin mining. Okay, so it was all mining rigs and things like that got us involved. And then, of course, everything happens with cycles. And that cycle, it's not gone, but it depreciated from what it was then until it was what it is now. So what happened to us is we kind of just fell in love with network marketing, myself and my wife, and we started building from there. And we were in a previous company where we saw potential in how a blockchain can work, and we also saw what cryptocurrencies bring to the market, the good and the bad. And then we started investigating what cryptocurrency is actually out there that can give us security in what we're doing with crypto, and also security in what we refer to as telecoms. Okay, so with regards to voice chat, to email system, you know, things like that. So I know that everyone knows about the debacle with WhatsApp and things like that, where suddenly everyone moved away from WhatsApp, moved to Telegram because of some privacy issues. So that's basically also what G999 brings to the table. Their blockchain is driven for privacy and security.
Do you consider yourself more of a trader or an investor?
Well, I'm definitely more a trader than an investor. So I would classify myself more a network marketing / trader. So that's kind of the title I would give myself.
And I think it's important for folks to understand a trader is someone who is in and out of the markets. I mean, you can be what's called a day trader, where you're in and out of positions in the same day. You can be a swing trader, where you're around for a couple days, couple weeks. You can be a position trader, or you can be a buy and hold investor. And so with G999 and of course any other cryptocurrency, same as stocks and futures, you can have a core position that you're holding for the long-term appreciation. But we know that price rarely travels in a straight line. It puts in a leg and a retracement, and a leg and a retracement. And so one can participate in those up legs being long, and then as the price starts to retrace, of course, you can come out of the market, take your profits, wait for that retracement to find its bottom, and then as the next leg starts to build, enter again, and you just, on something that is in an uptrend, such as G999, you're basically just buying the dips. And you can also still have a separate portion of your holdings set aside that you're not going to trade, that you're just going to hodl or hang on to for dear life, because you believe that there is great potential for upside appreciation. Now, I see Garth has his mic open. Garth, welcome to the show.
Hi there, Dwayne. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. So glad that you could come. Please take a moment and kind of introduce yourself and how you became involved with G999.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'm living here in South Africa with my wife and 2 kids. But actually, I come from a country called Zimbabwe. And a lot of people might say, oh, unfortunate for you, but I think actually very fortunate for me, because by the time I left school, it wasn't a case of you didn't see the signs coming. It was a case of the signs came and slapped us on the face. And so we had to pivot really fast. And I had to go and live, work, study, travel, run businesses in other countries around the world. What I was looking for was somewhere where the systems could work for me, because the system of my home country didn't work anymore. You know, we had the greatest abuse of a financial system that's ever been on record, as you know.
I believe,
and so
was it Zimbabwe that printed the largest banknote ever in history? It was like $1 trillion note or something?
There was $100 trillion note, and that was after they had taken off 3 zeros twice. The inflation was so fast, hyperinflation, that you could go to a bar, buy a beer, you'd have to pay immediately. By the time you finished that beer, at the height of it, the cost for the next beer was double.
Oh my goodness. Do you think that type do you think that type of runaway hyperinflation is possible in some place like America or the UK? I mean, could that happen?
Well, I would never say never, but I think that the financial system is going to pivot before that happens anyway. We know that with the excessive printing going on at the moment, it's unprecedented.
It is.
But in my mind, they're all pivoting anyway. They're all fighting for who's going to be, the next world reserve currency, and it's not going to be a standard currency. It's not going to be paper money, that's for sure. It's going to be a blockchain or a DLT. We're even seeing the IMF positioning themselves for that. So looking for other solutions my whole life was actually such a big blessing for me, because it meant that I could come across Bitcoin in its early days. Well, I wouldn't say the first 3 years, but certainly about 9 years ago was my first exposure to it. And it just meant that I was more open than most other people coming from other countries, I guess, just because of the experiences that we've gone through, seeing our family and friends lose everything literally within months. So it didn't take me long to grow a fast interest and a love for cryptos, blockchain, etc.
How long have you personally been trading and investing in cryptocurrency?
All right, so I'm not a trader or much of a trader. I did do 2 weeks of my life as a trader. I nearly got divorced as a result, and I'm about to never go back in that direction.
Right.
So I like to find projects that I can participate in. I'm not a speculator. I definitely don't want to be a spectator either. So we like to find projects that we can find teams that we can work with, that we can really get to grips with them, and that allow us to contribute. So I would guess my first real sort of investing was more like 2016, $400 round about there. I actually went to go and hire a financial advisor. Cost me $150 for the hour, and Bitcoin was $150 at the time. And he told me, this is a Ponzi. You're better off putting your money under your pillow. So I actually could have bought 150 Bitcoin. So the 150 mark for me is quite a thing I have in my brain. So yeah.
Let me introduce Teresa, who has joined us. And Teresa, I believe your mic is open. Can you hear me? Okay, Teresa, we have the mic open on this end, so you just jump right in there as soon as you can, because we'd like to hear your story as well.
Can you hear me, Dwayne?
I hear you now. Welcome to the show.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's really nice to be on your show. I actually watch it quite often, so exciting to have me on here. I appreciate that. Yeah, so a little bit about me. I'm actually the total opposite of all these guys. Obviously, I'm a female, but the other part is I don't have any experience in the crypto market at all. I am an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18 years old. I've owned 14 different small businesses. And I say small businesses, everything from little coffee shops to daycare centers to dog grooming businesses to my last business was a hotel and a screen printer. I had a t-shirt shop for 10 years. Basically, I'm just the, all-American girl that doesn't want to work for somebody else, that really I wanted control of my time and my freedom because I had 2 children and I was bound and determined to never put them in daycare. Not one day of their life have they ever been in daycare. They're now in their 30s and have children of their own, but that was always my goal. So that's why I wanted to be in business for myself. So 2 years ago, I closed my last business because it was literally just before the oil field sort of quieted down, and I think I stepped out just perfect timing because it was just a few months later that COVID hit. And I owned a hotel at the time, so it would have crushed us, but we decided it was a good time for us to walk away from our business because we couldn't find help. I live in North Dakota, and we were right smack in the middle of the oil boom when we started our business, but it seemed like everybody wanted to work in the oil field because they could make so much more money. We were having a really difficult time finding employees. So being that I am a small business owner, my biggest stresses were always clearly employees was one of them, was hard to find that. So I decided that it was be a good time for me to take my experience and start looking for another type of business, because clearly I wasn't going to go work for somebody else, but there was this whole network marketing thing that came about, and it sparked my interest, especially because all the things that I didn't like about business was not a problem in network marketing. So
you don't have to do payroll. You don't have to. Well, I guess it depends on the different networking models. Some you have to maintain inventory, some you don't. But yeah, for those who don't know, for those who've always dreamed of owning your own business, I think that is a great part of the American dream. But let me just caution you that owning your own business is the toughest job you'll ever have. So please continue.
Amen. For sure. It was, but I mean, I loved it. I did. And I think the number one reason why I loved it is because I felt like I was in control of my future in some ways. The harder I worked, the more successful I was. It wasn't that, I mean, I didn't have to be a slave to somebody else's dream. You know, I mean, I literally was able to. The reason why, I have to say though, the reason why I owned 14 different businesses is because I allowed my businesses to evolve with my life. You know, when I was a brand new mom with my first little baby, my daycare was my business, you know, and because that's what I needed, that's what I knew people in my age group needed was daycare. So then when they went to school, then I'm at home alone, and I didn't want to be there with the babies because, you know, I finally raised mine to not be able to go to school. So then I opened, a dog grooming shop because I'm home alone with the dog, you know, so I allowed my businesses to evolve with my life. And I think that's one of the reasons why I switched my businesses so many times, is just because I did what made me happy. I did what provided for not only my future, but also provided my happiness, you know, whatever it was that fit into my happy place at the time. And so when it came to this part, now I'm at this stage where I am a empty nester. My husband and I have always owned our own businesses. And so it got to the point where I needed to find something that focused more on my financial future for my retirement. Now, as a small business owner, we know that retirement is not something that we really think about, because generally what we think about is keeping the lights on, right, keeping the employees paid, keeping our bills, you know, on top of our bills, or buying more equipment so that we could do, you know, expand our business. So those are the kind of things that we think about in the small businesses. But one of the things
these
we
are
don't
the kind
think
of
about
things
is
that also
paying
can
ourselves
keep
first.
us awake at night. I can't count the number of Thursday nights. This is back in the day when Friday was payday, where people actually got paychecks and not just direct deposits. But many a Thursday night I fell asleep praying, dear God, let there be enough checks in the P.O. box tomorrow morning to cover payroll. And by the grace of God, sometimes there was just enough, but there was always just enough. And we never missed a payroll. And people who've never lived that life, kind of on the edge, honestly, not everybody's cut out for it. My son and my daughter, I've encouraged them, tried to encourage an entrepreneurial spirit in them, but they've watched me their whole life growing up, you know, work 18-hour days, and they both come to me and said, you know, Dan, I admire so much what you do and what you've built, but I think I just want to go to work somewhere 8 hours a day, know that I'm going to get a paycheck based on the hours that I work, and build up a retirement over time. And I don't know, Dad, maybe someday it'll change for me, but right now, you know, like my son works for Amazon, and he's happy and he's content, and so I don't think you can push anybody into an entrepreneurial spirit, but I do hope that someday, you know, the bug will bite him. He'll come up with an idea that solves a problem, and he'll catch fire like I did, because to me, there's, you know, one of the most exciting things in life for me is to start a business, build it from nothing, you know, without any outside input, you know, without financing and loans, and to just bootstrap and build something and to create it. Wow, that's the good life for me. And Steve Jobs gets credited with this quote, but I'm pretty sure somebody said it before him, and he was just quoting them. But the saying is, find a job that you love, and you'll never work another day in your life. Because the act of getting up every day, I mean, I wake up before the alarm clock because I'm eager to get up and do whatever it is I'm doing. Whereas most folks with a 9-to-5 maybe don't have that same passion. Maybe the alarm clock goes off and they hit the snooze button. So, yeah. Yes.
But if I may.
Absolutely, yeah. I want all of you guys, you've all got open mics, just pipe right in. I want to make this a roundtable discussion.
I just wanted to plug this into this conversation specifically because one of the utilities of the G999 coins is to build a business. And this now becomes a global community holding a common asset. And now all of us building our personal businesses, we're using the G999 as a utility coin to benefit the community as a whole. So to me, that's very, very, very impressive.
It is, and you know what? And that brings me to a topic that I wanted to bring up. Last night in our members workshop, CFRN, one of my members who is new to the GS Partners and the G999, he asked a question, and I would love to get all of you guys' answer to this. He said, Dwayne, I tried talking to one of my friends, because now this gentleman has been in Amway for a number of years, so he understands multi-level marketing, and so he made his decision that he wanted to become a GS Partners, and he got the basic package. And so last night in the discussion group, in the workshop, he said, Dwayne, I was trying to talk to a friend today about cryptocurrency, and he told me that it's all just a figment of my imagination, and what should I say to him to try to convince him otherwise? And I don't know that I gave him the best answer, but I'm going to give you what I gave him. And I said, brother, if they don't want to hear it, if they have that negative an opinion of it, shake the dust off your sandals and just move on to the next person that may be more open-minded, more receptive, because even if you can convince and talk this individual into becoming a part, maybe against their will, but because they admire you, I've seen business and multi-level businesses divide families, break up friendships. So to each of you, when someone says, I don't think cryptocurrency is a real thing, I think it's a figment of everybody's imagination, even though Jerome Powell the other day said that America's getting ready to, considering rolling out their own cryptocurrency or digital dollar, take a shot at it, guys. What would your answer be to my guy last night?
Cool. I'll go to Junior.
Okay.
So from my side, I want to put it out to people. So Robert Kiyosaki always says, guys, you have to understand that there's three types of money, okay? There's fiat currencies, the US dollar, the yen, the South African rand, the whatever, okay? That's fiat currency. That's the government's money. That's the controlled money, okay? Then you've got gold, silver, and precious metals, That's God's money.
Amen.
And then you also have cryptocurrencies, which is the people's money. Okay? So
I like that. Government money, God's money, the people's money. Go on. This is good.
Absolutely. So now, again, a lot of people don't trust or don't like cryptocurrencies because it's not tangible. It's not something physical. You can't hold a Bitcoin in your hand.
Right.
Okay, but what people need to understand also is in today's time, how much of your salary, how much of your money are you physically touching? Okay, 5 to 10% maximum you're touching of your physical money. It's only the money that you draw that you touch. The rest of the money is all digital. It's all ones and zeros that go into the bank and go out of the bank to pay stuff again. Okay, there's nothing different to cryptocurrencies in that same sense.
I asked somebody, how much of your 401k do you have in your hand?
That's good. That's a very good example. I mean, the whole idea of the U.S. dollar as a cryptocurrency, well, you know, the United States or the Federal Reserve, which, by the way, folks, in case you don't know, it's as much a part of the government as Federal Express. Okay, the Federal Reserve is a private corporation. It's a banking cartel. It's not a part of the government. But we have been using this thing called the dollar for many, many years. But the Treasury only prints a very small portion of our money supply. They used to print M1, which was the nation's money supply. They stopped printing that years ago. So we don't really know how much is out there, but just a small fraction of our quote-unquote money is printed out as $1 bills, $100 bills, etc., that you can fold up and put in your pocket. It's as you just said, you know, most of the United States money, and I'm sorry to say this, folks, but we're a debtor nation. Okay, we owe more than we have in the bank, but still, our dollar is a digital currency already. We just so happen to print out a few bills here and there that people can fold up and put in their pocket. So I think if people can grasp that and realize that we've been dealing in digital money for a very long time, that's a game changer. And the fact that you can now, and the other big question used to always be, well, what can I do with it? Where can I spend it? Well, who would like to talk about the GS Partners or GS Bank solution to being able to now spend your cryptocurrency anywhere, restaurant, Walmart, take your pick. And anyone that wants to answer that, please just jump in.
I just want to add something real quickly, and then I can pass it over to Garth. I just want to mention to me what the blockchain represents is basically mathematical proof of transactions happening in a transparent way. So we know that the dollar has a burn system and a print system as well as something similar to the G999 deflationary model, but we cannot track exactly how many dollars are being burned. So when it comes to transparency and to knowing with exact math numbers the supply, to me that's way better, because I know 100%, 200%, 300% of the deflationary model is being executed. We're 300% in a deflationary state, or we are 100% up in value with our cryptocurrency. So to me, the math behind all blockchain and cryptos, that's what makes it very, very real to me. Go ahead.
And the fact that it's so transparent. I mean, using the Explorer, you can see exactly what's there, exactly what's in a wallet. You don't know whose wallet it is, but it's all there forever. There's no one server that any person can turn off or shut down. No one person that can make a decision. It's truly decentralized. So whoever else wants to pick up on that topic and run with it, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Garth here.
Hey, Garth.
So I definitely want to jump into the card solution that we have there. But just before I do that, I just want to go over quickly, very briefly, how when I'm having a conversation with someone about crypto, someone who may be negative, etc., I get the point across immediately to them and very fast that they understand that this is going to be a journey of conversations. This is not going to be a 3-minute his opinion versus my opinion, and then it's over. That person can feel it in my fiber that I'm prepared to go through facts. So I really find that helps opening the door and having better conversations. And then very simply, with regards to the card, the spendability, the usability, the fungibility, being able to switch, save, earn interest, and have a card to do all that as well. This is a game changer, and it's something that for the last 5 years we've been looking for an effective solution for this, because I haven't had a bank account personally for 5 years. We did jump into the early days of Zappo. I don't know if you recall Zappo, the XAPO card that came out in the early days. Pretty much got shut down in most countries pretty quickly. I think some European countries may still be using that platform, but that was a big moment. That was exciting when we could get a card and, hey, we can swipe anywhere. But very soon, our countries all got shut down from being able to get that. So fast forward to what the guys at G999 have been able to do, the guys, behind the team with their partnership through getting the MasterCard system up and running. It really is a game changer, because it's more than just a card. It's way more than any platform has put out there before. And we know there are a few options out there already, but it's a full-on banking system. So my language with people is, hey, what do you do when you go to open a bank account? You walk in, you register, you fund your account, you apply for your card, and you utilize your banking system. Mm-hmm. And that is exactly what we do with our system, except that it's better, because what we're saving into has the ability to appreciate in value over time. And now we can mix with different currencies, we can mix with different cryptos, spend, swipe, withdraw, and it really is revolutionary. So, that GS Lifestyle system, I think really ticks a lot of boxes. And on top of that, we've all got big hopes and dreams. We all want to do those first-class flights, those 5-star hotels, and we're going to be getting up to 30% discount on those high-end bookings through the concierge system. So, yeah, it's a really, really amazing product.
So it's more than just a debit card that you can spend your crypto at Walmart or a restaurant or a hotel, but there is this concierge service which provides a whole host of features and benefits. There is an annual membership fee, and that's part of the multi-level marketing side of the business. I mean, there's really two revenue streams here. One is owning the G999 coin, in hopes, of course, that there will be steady appreciation of the value of the coin itself. But then there's also the business model side of where you present this opportunity to other people, and for a very nominal fee. I think the entry-level price is like $149, and once you have that in place, then you too can begin to earn money. I mean, honestly, I was shocked. I go to a Saturday morning meeting each Saturday with a group inside of this big thing, GS Partners. It's called The Golden Journey, 1022 The Golden Journey. I've made some really great friends there, and I've been going to the meetings every Saturday. And then one morning during the Saturday meeting, I just decided to log into my account, and honestly, I was a little bit shocked, because I had Bitcoin and Ethereum in my wallet that I did not put there. It was because other people had come along who I had shared, just, hey, come take a look. There's no pressure. Open a free account, see what's going on. If you like it, great. If not, that's okay too. And apparently some of the folks really liked it, because it's always a nice surprise to find you've got some money that you didn't know you had. And that really piqued my interest. Now, I enjoy the community, I enjoy the technology, my dreams of the future, you know, but at the end of the day, whatever it is I'm doing, I appreciate getting paid. The labor is worthy of his wages. So, now, Sean, we have another guest that just joined us, Sean Maloney. I'm sure most of you know who he is. He's been on the show before. Sean, I unmuted you on my end, so if you can unmute yourself on your end, we'd love to have you pop in and say a few words. And we'll wait a few minutes for him to be able to do that. Now, guys, I had brought up on the screen here the World Bets channel in Telegram. And since I just refreshed it, 327 more votes came in. So I'm going to click this and go to the bottom of the list. Would one of you like to kind of explain this contest, what it's all about, when the winner of the contest will be revealed, and what happens once that winner is revealed? Anybody want to take a run at that?
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll go. The other guys can fill in finer details. So basically what World Bets is it's a community that has been formed to actually go and promote a certain project. Okay, so there's a couple of rules on the World Bets chart. They give you a little bit of direction that each person can vote so many times within a certain duration. And what you need to do is you need to go and promote your product, okay, so that they can understand, but you're not allowed to put any links, any video content or anything like that. It's all got to be face value. So currently it looks like we may be sitting in a good position to actually win this competition. So the competition ends on the evening of the 28th of February, okay, and the winner will then be announced on the 1st of March. And basically what they're going to go and do is they've got a very, very strong community, and they want to go and back a certain project, okay? So let's say, for instance, our coin G999, our project wins, then they come in with a couple of hundred or 1,000 people, and they come and invest into our project. But they're also not allowed to pump and dump it. So they're not allowed to go and buy, get the price up and sell it. What they're going to go and do is they're basically going to go and support our project. They're going to come and buy a certain amount of value in coin, and then they're going to go and hold it for 2-3 years before they do anything with it. So that's really going to be nice for us, giving us sustainability in the market and growth going forward.
Great explanation. Sean just got his mic opened. Sean, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yeah,
great to be here and great.
We enjoyed having you on before. And yeah, please just introduce yourself again and tell people about your involvement, how you came across G999, what you see that the future holds for this coin and for cryptocurrency as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be real brief because I'm here in great company this time. I mean, the team you've been listening to today, Dwayne, and everybody else, incredible people. They are true pioneers in what it is to galvanize community in a way that is certainly new with regards to how we build collective benefit, but with individual empowerment. And this is a fascinating era of history we're living through right now. I can't remember if I alluded to it last time, Dwayne, but there's a documentary series that has just come out that you can see on YouTube, actually, called Can't Get You Out of My Head. Can't Get You Out of My Head. It's a fascinating documentary series, and it's by Adam Curtis, who you guys may know from Bitter Lake and documentaries such as that. Now, what you're witnessing, listening to these guys talk today, is what Adam Curtis refers to as basically immutable individualism. And we're actually now starting to see that with World Bets. The World Bets concept came about very quickly just over the past few weeks under the ability through the Robin Hood project, rightly or wrongly, but it gave us insight into how as human beings, individuals actually, were able to now start to take some control. And the question you asked earlier about where the blockchain comes into that is absolutely fascinating, because people see it just as a coin value, when in fact it's nothing to do with that in real terms. It's all to do with the value of the collective being managed on a protocol we happen to call the blockchain. Now, if people can understand that premise, then you're able to start to move forward as individuals, but working in a collective that's managed by algorithm. And that's basically what Internet 3.0 is. So what you're listening to on this call today, ladies and gentlemen, is individuals empowering themselves to empower others using immutable blockchain technology. And we just happen to leverage this on this particular project right now called G999. And that is a very, very special dynamic. Okay, so it gets rather philosophical, and it's a big topic when you get into the level I'm thinking on and talking on right now. But you can break it down very simply by just giving people access points. We call them gateways, such as the card that Garth referred to. And very quickly, people realize how they can become what we call becoming your own bank. I'm the same as Garth. I've not operated with commercial banking for many years because we got badly affected back in 2008. We've been working ever since, over the last decade, to try and become as sovereign as we possibly can. We got lucky with Bitcoin, and now we've used that to leverage into all sorts of other projects and ecosystems such as G999. So the whole thing connects together really well, Dwayne, and that documentary series that you just pulled up there does a great job. It's a very deep documentary series, but it does a great job of comparing what's happened with collectivism and individualism over the past 50 years. In other words, you've had China and Russia, and you've had Western Europe and Northern America predominantly working at odds with each other through collectivism on one side, individualism on the other. But now it's flipping around, and it's why that's happening is very, very interesting indeed. And I've said before on this show, Dwayne, that people should go and study New Bretton Woods and understand what is going on with what Garth referred to with regards to these new central bank digital currencies, just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And what we're determined to do as individuals all over the world is simply use the blockchain on which to empower ourselves, starting with education, but then galvanize action in exactly the way that you're listening to these guys talk about today in what we call price making. So we live in very special times, Dwayne, and it's a pleasure, as always, to be able to shine a light on this so that we can take action.
Thank you so much for joining. And something I want everyone to understand, I can speak for the United States because this is where I live, but I don't know how banking rules operate in every country. But when you open an account at a typical bank here in the U.S. and you deposit your money, you are relinquishing control of your money. You literally no longer own your money. The bank now owns your money. Is that not true? Did I misspeak in any way? Because the difference is with the blockchain, with cryptocurrency, hey, your Bitcoin, whatever wallet you hold it in, it is yours. And I think banks see themselves as a vanishing breed because the third-party intermediary that we've always needed to make financial transactions happen are going away. At the last Davos conference, the CEO of Western Union showed up to make his pitch. They had some breakout sessions on cryptocurrency, because you got to understand, folks, if you support any kind of ministry or have family in different countries, in order to get money from your pocket to their pocket, you have to use a Western Union, you have to use a MoneyGram, or you have to go to your bank and send a bank wire. And all of those methods are fairly expensive. And if you're sending remittances to your family in Mexico on a regular basis or something, I mean, that adds up to billions of dollars in revenue each year for Western Union. But with the blockchain and with cryptocurrency, if Well, we have an orphanage in Kampala, Uganda, East Africa. Now, you know, when we used to send money on a monthly basis to fund just the upkeep of the property and feeding the 700 kids, however much I was sending, I would go to my bank, and on a percentage basis, I would pay a pretty hefty fee to send the 5 to 10 grand, whatever it was we were sending on any given month. Now, with the advent of the blockchain and with cryptocurrency, I don't need to go to the bank. I don't need to send that expensive bank wire. There is a transaction fee, or a gas fee as it's called, to transfer that money from my wallet to, you know, an orphanage wallet as an example in Africa. But whereas the bank wire used to take a couple, 3 days to go through, Western Union, MoneyGram, sometimes those can take, you know, depends on if you're sending it in the U.S., it's fairly quick, maybe a couple hours. But to other countries, it can take days. But with cryptocurrency, you send it, and, you know, 10 minutes later, give or take, it's there. And with the advent of these bank cards that we were just talking about, now, I used to have to go to the bank to send the bank wire, and I had to pay a pretty sizable fee to send the bank wire. And okay, once the money arrived at the bank, at Barclays Bank in Kampala, then Pastor Chris or his wife Agnes, who run the orphanage there, boots on the ground, they would have to go to the bank and then pay a fee to draw that money out. And so a lot of bankers were getting very wealthy off transactions just like ours all around the world. And I think some of them are perhaps running a little scared now, because the world is starting to see that we don't need this third party to facilitate these financial and monetary transactions. I really believe the day is coming that when you get ready to buy your next house, you'll take a virtual tour of that house for sale on the internet. If you decide that you really do want to actually walk through the property, you'll be met at the door by a little friendly robot. These already exist. This little robot will give you a walkthrough tour of the house. If you want some coffee, the robot can do that. If you want a glass of Chardonnay, the robot can do that. If you ask how much were property taxes last year, your realtor would have to go and research that information. If you want to know how much the electricity bill averages in the summer, your realtor would have to, you know, look up that information and get back to you. But this robot will be able to instantaneously access those databases and tell you, well, the average electricity bill last summer and for the past 5 years was X dollars, property tax was X dollars. And so after the walkthrough, if you've decided you want to buy the house, you go home, you get back on your computer, and if you're getting a loan, that can all be done online with Quicken Loans. You can sign the documents online, and your deed. And there's been a lot of issues here lately of people who own their house free and clear. People are stealing the deeds to their home. But if you hold the deed to your home on the blockchain, that's not going to happen anymore. So I'm not trying to put any realtors out of business here, and the bankers, I'm sure they can find work somewhere. But I really believe this is the world that we're stepping into, and we're going to see, as we get closer to mass adoption, most of you have heard the term FOMO, fear of missing out. I don't think true FOMO has taken hold yet. As we get closer and closer to mass adoption, FOMO is going to build and build and build. So if you are interested in cryptocurrency, if you do believe it is the way of the future, I suggest that you not drag your heels too long. And I'm not saying you have to go out and buy G999, because we all know there are a wide variety of cryptocurrencies created for all different types of use cases. But as an example, I bought G999, most of mine, for half a penny. And then over a period of, I think, 2 weeks ago, last week or the week before, it ran up over 2 cents. And so that doesn't sound like much. Oh, gee, it went from half a penny, to 2 pennies. Okay, well, that's a 4 times return. So whether I put in $10, if I put in $10, it became $40. If I put in $100,000, it became $400,000. So don't be too judgmental about the price. Be thankful that there are coins like G999 that do have a low barrier to entry right now, because the percentage of return is what you should really be focused on. Now, trading is risky. You can lose all of your money and then some. Always check with a licensed investment professional before making any investment decision. But I suggest you start thinking, and I suggest that you start making decisions. I mean, there's nobody on the planet that doesn't wish they bought Bitcoin at 12 cents. Well, that ship has sailed. Now, on this radio program, we were talking about Bitcoin when it was 12 cents. Shame on us, because we were just talking and not buying. But c'est la vie. That's the story. That's the truth. And I believe that the day will come pretty soon when people will say, gee, I heard about that G999 when it was half a penny. And I don't know what price. I'm not a prophet. I'm not going to try to tell you what price it's going to. I do know the official Price Maker channel has defined some steps up the ladder. They're going to try to, do their best to drive it to a quarter, then 50 cents, then 75 cents, then $1. I'm not promising you that it will go there. There's no guarantees. With all investments, there's certainly a degree of risk. So don't use money that's going to take, that if you lost it, it is going to take any cheese off of your macaroni. Please. Be careful, be cautious, do your research, do your due diligence. And a great thing about G999, the GS Partners group, is there's always meetings going on. There's always groups. You can get answers to your questions. And when is the next big meeting, the big corporate meeting? Is that on Saturdays?
It's actually on the 2nd of March, Dwayne.
So the World Bets contest will end March 1st. I guess the winner will be announced. And then the big corporate meeting will be on the 2nd. Okay.
Right.
What else would any of you guys like to share today? I certainly appreciate that you were all kind enough to come, be in attendance, but I would still like to hear anything that any of you would like to share regarding cryptocurrencies in general and in specific G999.
Dwayne, I'll go. It's Eugenia. So a little interesting fact, you were talking about money, and when you go and put some money into your original or your banking system, I've worked with so many people that's transitioned into cryptocurrencies that when they wanted to take their money out, you try and go to the bank and ask them for $400,000 and see what the bank says. You're going to have a bit of a hassle getting $400K out. Even though it's your money, you put it in there, you're going to struggle to get it out.
Most banks, you can't get 40 grand out. Number one, if you want more than 10 grand, they've got to fill out a special report. But chances are they don't even have that much cash in that branch locked up in the vault to hand you. You're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up. Please continue.
Exactly. With blockchain, I don't need to ask anyone permission. If I've got $1 million sitting in Bitcoin in my blockchain and I want to go and send it to Sean or to Garth, I just go and do that. 15 minutes later, they got the money. Okay, so I don't need anyone's form to be filled in or being approved. Okay, so that's the one thing I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to say is with regards to the traders out there and stuff as well that's doing a lot of trading. Okay, so we've got wallets like Exodus and all different kind of wallets where we go and farm coins and then we go and store the coins there for a while. Now, in my experience, a lot of the time what we do is, let's say for instance we farmed and we've kept a couple of BTC in Exodus. Now we know that there's some sort of a signal, or some of the trend lines actually tell us that there's going to be let's call it a 50-60% dip in Bitcoin price in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so now we're going to go and move that Bitcoin, let's say, into Ethereum. Okay, so now typically when you do that on Exodus, you're paying 89% fee in order to exchange BTC to Ethereum. What GS Lifestyle has brought to the table is it's a banking card, but it's not just a card, it's also a crypto wallet. Okay, so what you can do now with this crypto wallet is you can have the same amount of Bitcoin in your crypto wallet, and you can exchange it into Ethereum for half the fees of what you're paying for on Exodus. Wow. So that's the first thing that really caught my eye, that I'm saving money already by just choosing a different wallet. Okay. The biggest thing for me about GS Lifestyle is the fact that you were talking about you sending money to an organization that's outside of the US, and you're paying fees, you're waiting a couple of days. Well, now you can do that in Bitcoin and transact in cryptocurrencies. But now you must know, when you send the money from person A to person B in cryptos, there's also fees applicable. Okay, yes, it might be less than sending US dollars. But now with GS Lifestyle, if you're a member of GS Lifestyle and you've got another partner that's also got an account with GS Lifestyle, you can go and send them money without any fees attached to it. It's absolutely fee exempt when you send that money across.
No fee, no gas, nothing. Wow. I'm sorry, we lost your audio for just a second there. I think it's back.
There we go, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, so when it's from one partner to another partner, you don't pay fees for sending it. That's really incredible. It's a big game changer at the moment.
Your audio just dropped off again. Oh, I think it's back. Try again.
Hey there, Dwayne.
Hey. Is this Bruce?
Hi, no, it's Garth here.
Oh, it's Garth. Okay. All right.
Sorry, we lost Eugene's audio there.
Yeah, we did.
Could you do me a very quick favor?
Yes.
Could you pull up coinmarketcap.com quickly?
I would be very happy.
I just want to show you something quickly. I don't think a lot of people have picked that up yet today.
Let's do this. Coin market cap. Okay.
All right. So have a quick look there. 24-hour trade volume at the top. At the top, right at the top.
Oh, okay.
Pick up a little bit more. There we go. Have you guys seen that? $1.1 trillion traded in the last 24 hours.
And that's across
now that is
all cryptocurrencies.
Across all cryptocurrencies, that's about a 30% increase of late. Now going back as recent as 2016, early 2017, we were celebrating when the 24-hour trade volume of all cryptocurrencies was $1 billion. And we've just passed over $1 trillion today. So that is 3 zeros more trade volume in a 4-year period. And if we look at the adoption back then, there was about 70 million Bitcoin wallets open back in those days. Now there's just under 300 million, I think was on the last sort of check. So we're only at about 4% of the world's population even has a wallet yet, but yet we've done a 3-0 gain in the amount of trade volume. So what's that going to be like when there's 10% of the world involved?
That's absolutely.
Like, these are some things that people really need to have a look at right now.
That is absolutely incredible. And he did say T, folks, as in trillion. That's a substantial amount of coin. And I believe.
Yeah, no borders.
Go ahead.
No borders, no banks, no permissions, no governments, just people using the people's money. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. I really appreciate it. And to everyone else, yes, Teresa, please.
Oh, I just had a little quickie thing I wanted to throw in there too, is just like I said before, the biggest reason why I became an entrepreneur was the fact that I like to be a little bit, I guess, in control of my future. And that also means that I also don't have anybody else to blame on the outcome, right? So it can be good or bad. Sometimes I don't have anybody else to blame. If I don't work a day, then I'm not going to get paid for it. But there's something else about this G999. It's a community. I mean, can you imagine if we all had control, if the people of the United States had control of the value of our dollar? I mean, that would be pretty cool. We don't have the control. We just basically have to live with it whether we like it or not. But in this case, this G999 is actually it's a community of over 250,000 wallets are on there. We have over 70,000 people in the partners program, 13,000 people, over 13,000 people that are involved in the price maker strategy. We have very large numbers, but what you see there on that screen just will show you how many people are in that community that are willing to really go out there and prove that we are one of the best communities out there when it comes to a coin. That is what is driving this World Bets competition, is they wanted to support a coin, one that can prove that they have a community that backs that coin. And that is what this competition is all about, is they wanted to find find a coin to invest in that not only is just going to pump up a price and possibly fall because there's nothing to hold it there. We are a great investment. This G999 is a great investment because we have a community, we have a product, we have a coin, we have an awesome company that is doing every single thing that it says it's going to do. It's hitting deadlines. It's creating wonderful, amazing, useful products. So it's a great investment, and that's basically what I wanted to say, is that if you ever wanted to have an investment that you feel like you could possibly be a little part of the value, then the G999 is something that we believe in.
And the barrier to entry right now, live in real time, is a penny and a half. A penny and a half. That's.
And I wanted to share something
Please.
To your point. There's a really strong sense that's building around our community to create a culture of buying and holding the G999. So every person that I talk to, they either hold hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of coins, and they're not thinking of selling anytime soon. So if you're the type of investor that wants to buy into this coin, but you're not really sure of trading it maybe, but you just want to hold it long term, this community has that mindset in mind. They want to buy it and hold it long term. So to me, that's powerful. To me, that's very powerful. So I'm super excited to be part of this.
That is very powerful. And when you introduce someone to GS Partners, to G999, and let's say they want to put X amount of dollars and they just want to hold it. Now, guys, as the story goes, the urban legend, and I think it's the truth, is one night someone in Germany, or I think it was, that had a little too much to drink, and somebody had asked him on a forum what he was going to do with his coins, and he meant to type, "I'm going to hold them," but he mistyped, and he typed, instead of H-O-L-D, he typed H-O-D-L, hodl. And so that's become a term. People are hodling, which means hanging on for dear life. In other words, they're buying and holding and see where it will take you. Now, to those that you introduced to this, do you recommend that they use any particular type of cold storage wallet, online wallet? Do you suggest they just leave it on the GS Trade Exchange? What's your best advice?
Well, I'll jump in real quick, Dwayne, just covering two aspects of what Arturo brought up and your question, because they are very interesting. And this all comes down to the education piece again that a lot of the guys on the call tonight have been alluding to. Arturo's absolutely right, and it will segue into your question, Dwayne. But what we're now finding with blockchain technologies is not just the hodl situation, which is holding, basically awaiting equity like you would in a normal stock a property, or even a bank account. What we're dealing with in this technology now is a sophisticated new entrance into this space called decentralized finance, or DeFi. Okay, so a lot of these projects now are starting to bring that in at the point of use, and we're very much in that mode at the moment with this particular G999 project. That means basically what's happening is we're being incentivized not just to hold, we're also being incentivized to participate in the coin's purpose, which is ultimately to be a utility around a blockchain protocol. And we get paid for that. Okay, we get paid for that in several ways. But DeFi is a very, very easy access method of doing that. You've got staking as well, and also you've got masternode ownership, which is a more sophisticated version of that. So understanding that premise means you then, as you business owners listening, will understand the idea of a strong balance sheet is to fund liabilities with cash flowing assets. And that's basically what we're doing here. The entry point is very low. We leverage that through liability into cash flowing assets to refund that liability like any successful business should do. So that's premise number one. But to your second point, Dwayne, which is equally interesting, and it does segue into what Garth was talking about before with the easy access payment gateway systems that are coming through now, is this concept of security and cold storage. And increasingly, as more and more people, as Garth is absolutely right to point out, start to come into this space, it's essential that we get a situation where people feel safe and secure. Now, this is going on a bigger picture. You've got the Winklevoss brothers, you've got Kraken. There's a lot of big institutional money slushing around now that needs regulation and legislation, and we do need custodians. The interesting thing about Kraken, though, on that basis is that they do not run fractional reserve lending out of capital on blockchain, which is a very interesting point to consider when you look at the dangers of that in the normal system. But at an individual level, organizations such as GS Partners and Gold Standard Bank, GS Partners is the marketing arm of Gold Standard Bank, they're bringing to the table at the genesis, at the beginning, the ability for people to cold storage and take immutable ownership in cold storage in very simple ways. It's actually called a signature card. So that's coming through, which basically, Dwayne, outlines the market that we're approaching with this particular project, which is the masses. And it's the masses that need that, to Eugene's point, that finally we're getting to a stage where we can actually take control. I call it empowered households, whereby we directly place ownership through the blockchain into organizations that give us the ability to cash flow in many ways, the way I've described, and also be secure and in full custodianship through our asset ownership, which basically means that we become our own bank. Okay, so this is just a matter of time, Dwayne. This is unraveling right in front of our eyes, and it's just a case of making sure that we do as much as we can, such as this show, to highlight this so that people can come into this for the right reasons and not speculate. It's a very interesting space, Dwayne.
It truly, truly is. And thank you so much for taking some time to come today and explain your thoughts and ideas to our panelists who are still on the call. Does anyone have any final closing comments that you'd like to make, or any topic or information that you would like to additionally share? I had a question here in the chat box that says, sorry, but I do not understand this business model. I'm not a network marketer. I do own some ETH, Ether, via Coinbase. I do not know what G999 is, a coin or blockchain, nor do I understand the business model. Okay, great question. G999 is a coin. It's also a blockchain. And I just posted a link in the question box in the discussion group. It's a Zoom room we have that's open pretty much around the clock. And you just click that link and you'll zoom right in. And if you don't want to be on camera, when you click on a Zoom link, you have the option of joining without video. And then it'll say, do you want to dial in or use the internet for audio? Just click use the internet for audio. And there'll be somebody there on the screen in the Zoom room. Nice people. There's no sales pitch. There's no pressure of any kind. They'll answer all of those questions, and then if you need some help step by step, opening up a free account, taking a look at the back office, and then making, and then ultimately you'll make your decision whether or not this type of a business model is right for you. And again, let me just say that trading and investing is risky. It is true that you could lose all of your money and then some. You should always check with a licensed investment professional before making any investment decision. And I'm going to share this on the screen. Topics discussed on this program are the opinions of our host and guests, not CFRN. This program is not to be considered as an offer to buy or sell any security or futures contract or cryptocurrency. Trading is risky and not suitable for all people. You can lose all of your money and then some. Always consult with a licensed investment, and it says medical professional because a while back we were talking about all the vaccine stocks, before making any investment decision, and always trade with a hard stop loss. Very important. Okay, so anyone else on the call, any of the panelists, I want to thank you all so very much for coming today, taking time out of your schedule to share with our audience. We've been broadcasting live at this time every trading day since 2005. And as we wrap up this portion of the program, talking about G999, we'll segue right back into our normal daily broadcast, where I'm about to go over the concierge trade alerts and the Logic 247 alerts for the past 24 hours. But I do want to give each one of our guests here today one last opportunity to open up your mic and add any final closing topics. And let me scroll down, see if anybody has a hand up or a mic open. I think I might hear someone.
Okay.
Okay, Eugene, I believe you just opened your mic.
Yeah, so to give you guys
But your voice is very distant. Maybe if you can get a little closer to the microphone.
Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you, but the volume is very low.
No, that's strange. Okay.
But you keep talking because people can turn up the volume on their end. So you just keep talking.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for giving us the time on your show to talk about G999. We're really excited about this project. It's a project that has gone to the market. There was no ICO, no funding from the people. It's all privately funded, and then it was given to the people. That's one of the things that I love about this project, and I think it's going to go very huge. We've got so many things that line up together to create unity, and unity will succeed every time. So I just want to say thank you, and let's chat next time.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate you coming on. All of you, thanks again. And maybe we'll circle back and do this again, another panel discussion here in a week or two after we see what the next couple of weeks bring. And of course, anyone who has questions and would like to learn more about crypto and blockchain and G999, just use that link that I put in the chat box, the Zoom link. It's in the question box, it's in the chat box, and we'll post it in our Telegram discussion group. We have a regular weekly Saturday morning meeting, but some of our members are hanging out in that Zoom room most of the day because we have people around the world, here in the US, in the UK, and
Dwayne,
just pop in. Yes.
Sorry, just wanted to mention one last thing.
Sure.
And thank you for the invitation. Looking forward to doing this again. But soon we will have a community channel for the G999 on Telegram.
Okay.
So anyone interested in the G999 as a cryptocurrency asset for them to hold, they can search for this Telegram channel. I'm not sure if it's up yet, but we will have that for any outside community, outside of partners and the business model. They'll be able to find some information on the Telegram chat. And I want to invite all the listeners to form part of the G999 community. We really do have tons of leadership and a lot to look forward in the future with our open source stack. So with that said, thank you so much again. We'll be talking to you soon.
Absolutely. We'll be more than happy. We have right now just a very small group here, the G999 discussion group, and we've got the 1022 Golden Journey group. But as soon as you get your group, your channel up and going, please send me the link in Telegram, and I'll be happy to share that with our whole universe.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Dwayne. Everybody have a great day.
All right.
Bye.
God bless. Take good care. And thanks so much for coming today.
Thanks for having us, Dwayne. I really appreciate it too.
Teresa, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on the show. And the next time we do it, I hope you'll find time to come again.
Hopefully I can. I know I've been pretty busy, but I'm glad to be on the show.
Thank you so much.
I'll talk to you again. Bye.
All right. And thank you, Sean. And just, guys, a round of applause to Teresa, Arturo, Garth, Eugene, Sean, and I don't know if Bruce was lurking there in the background or not, but we appreciate you guys all very much. So now we're going to dive back into our regularly scheduled programming. If you missed the first part of the show, we started out on the daily chart, which is what we do each and every day. And the daily chart helps us to see where major support and resistance is. We've already covered this. The high of the day is just below the BBC, and the low of the session, just as we talked about last night in the members only workshop, the 24% Fibonacci retracement of this entire move up. We hit it this morning and we bounced quite nicely. Now we're coming back down to the 50% Fibonacci retracement of just the last leg up. If we pass through that area, then we'll be back again at today's low, which in the S&P is 37.85. If that doesn't hold, then we'll be looking at the 62% Fibonacci retracement of the last leg up. And folks, if that doesn't hold as support, now again, we've got support, potential support here, here, here. But if that support fails to hold and we take out that low right there, then there is a huge window of opportunity to the downside. And often people don't think of the downside as being opportunity, but as futures traders, we have the luxury of not only trading around the clock, but we can be long, we can be short in the same session, even in the same hour, if that's what the chart dictates. And we trade what's in front of us. So if all of these daily support levels were to give way, whether it's today or Sunday night on the Globex Open, we have a potential window of opportunity that is quite sizable. We'll say 37.50, and we'll be conservative and call it down to 3,700. That's a 50-point window of opportunity. The S&P pays $50 a point. So with one contract, a move from here to here, that would be worth $2,500 per contract traded. And if you've earned the right to trade 2 contracts, well, that would be worth $5,000. If you've been with us for quite a while and you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, this move would be worth $25,000. Now, don't let that math cause you to do something silly. I see it happen, and I always try to talk people out of it, but inevitably, you know, someone's been very successful in their previous business that they built, or job that they held and they put away some money. The skills and the knowledge, etc., that you gained in the previous business is not always transferable into this business of trading. In fact, just about everything you ever learned outside of the markets is counterintuitive to how we actually trade in the markets. Sometimes people come in who have some nice money put away for the purpose of trading as they're approaching retirement or they've just retired, and they don't want to waste time putting together 10 consecutive days in a row in the simulator, and they don't want to waste time starting with just one contract and earning the right to trade 2 contracts. They just want to start clicking the mouse and making $1,000 a day. Now, we've been doing this since 2005. Thousands of traders have come through our doors. I have not seen that end well even once. Not once. If you want to become a trader, if you want to learn how to trade, without all the magic and the parlor tricks and the smoke and mirrors and all the stuff, you know what I'm talking about. If you just want to learn the underlying principles upon which markets operate, learn our simple strategy, apply it on a daily basis, practice in the simulator, be patient, have self-discipline, put together those 10 consecutive days in a row, and then put one toe in the water with one contract, real money. Trade that one contract until you actually have proof, financial proof that you understand the strategy, because your account balance will increase. And when it increases by $2,000, the blueprint gives you the green light to add a second contract. And the blueprint will tell you when it's time for number 3, number 4, number 5. You never add more than one contract at a time, and you only add additional contracts with profit you earned in the market. If you follow that, it will be difficult for you to blow up another account. I'm not saying you can't, but you will have to break a lot of rules. You'll have to go against the grain a lot. You'll have to swim upstream like a salmon a lot to blow up that account. But it can happen. But if you follow the rules, because what happens is once you go live, if you have 2 days in a row where you don't reach your goal, then you come out of the live back to the sim. That's not a walk of shame. It's a smart business decision. You book a one-on-one mentoring session so that we can help you figure out what happened. Once we figure it out and you get your confidence back, you step right back into the live market where you left off. No get rich quick. This is a business. It's a business based on probabilities. The more you treat it like a business, the more it will behave like a business. If you treat it like gambling, you will get gambling results. And we all know that what you win in Vegas stays in Vegas. So we're going to go through the concierge trade alerts from last night, just real quickly because we're over our time, but that's okay. We can do that. Last night's CTA, and I'm going to drag them up. Now remember, the logic alerts come out around the clock, 24/7, based on current price action. This static report is published once per session, and the numbers are good for the entire session based on historic price action. Now, the way to handle it is when the report is published each evening, you go to the charts of the market you trade and you put 2 lines in the sand. So once this is published, if price starts climbing towards 38.74, that's bullish. You're going to be looking for long trades. Once you get above 38.74, you will only be looking for long setups based upon our simple strategy and methodology. If price starts dropping to 37.97, that's bearish. You're going to start looking for opportunities to sell the market based upon our strategy. And as price is climbing, you've got those around the clock logic alerts. helping you. And as price is dropping, you've got those logic alerts helping you on the short side. And so, last night's concierge trade alert for the S&P was to consider being long at or above 38.74, which is up here. And that number was never reached. We're in a transition. We've been in a downtrend. Now we're transitioning. If buyers remain committed to their positions, we will head up as we go into the close today or Sunday night on the Globex Open. But as you saw on the daily chart, buyers really have their work cut out for them. Until this transition is complete, we won't know if we're out of rough waters yet or not. We are currently transitioning, attempting to transition to the long side. So there was no trigger on the long side for the CTA. The short number on the CTA was 37.97. That happened right here. $37.97. And so from $37.97 we dropped down to $37.85. So from 97 to 85, it's about 12 S&P points at $50 a point, $600 per contract traded. Now, again, this is forward guidance for the entire session, published once per session, but there are logic alerts published all along the way. Okay? All right, so let's go to the Dow. Last night's CTA for the Dow was to be long 31,610 up here, so never triggered. The short side was 31,190, and that happened right along here. Now, important prices in important areas are almost always tested. 31,190. Come on. There we go. 31,190. Okay. So as we come down in trigger, when we hit a CTA, that's an important price, important area. Price has to make a decision. Remember that the CTAs are based on previous price action. The logic alerts are based on current price action, and when those two line up and point at the same important price, important area, that's typically where you'll find your highest probability, lowest risk trade setups. So on the first move down, price didn't like what it saw, so support sends us to resistance, red and falling. Resistance, we hit red and falling and the weekly trading zone. These zones are published every Monday morning for our members at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And as you can see, price goes from zone to zone, back to the zone, down to the zone, down to the next zone, up to the zone. Think of it as fixed support and resistance for the entire week. Once we publish them Monday morning, as we've done since December 14th, 2009, they're carved in stone all week. We don't change them, massage them, manipulate them. That's your fixed support and resistance. The indicators provide dynamic support and resistance. When price rallies up to the BBC, the green line, we expect that to be good resistance until proven otherwise, and it was. Price rallied up, got above the trigger, hit resistance at the BBC, came down through the trigger, and the trigger was 31,190, and it traded down to the zone at 31,140. That's a 50-point move. The Dow pays $5 a point, $250 per contract move. So we triggered once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 1 alert, 6 triggers. That is not unusual. Now, I said earlier that we've archived every daily show on our YouTube channel since we added video to the mix. The first few years, from 2005 to 2011, it was just an audio podcast. 2011, we added video, and we've archived every daily show since 2011 on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. So when you go there, if you missed today's show, you go there and watch it. But you can also scroll back a week, scroll back a month, a year, 2 years. And the interesting thing you'll find, we're still using the same zones, same indicators, same principle. Nothing's changed. If it's not broke, we'll leave it alone. And our methodology, there's nothing to break. We've all had indicators or strategies that, work sometimes and sometimes they don't. Everything works some of the time. Nothing works all of the time, except the market. The market always works, and the market is always right. Whether you disagree with it or not, the market's always right. So the strategy that Michael and I worked very hard over the years to create was a strategy that clearly shows you what the market is doing so that you can agree with what the market is doing and do what the market is doing. You're not fighting the flow. You're not trying to swim upstream. You're identifying the flow, and then you go with the flow. So on this trigger here, as we came down, again, the entry was 31,190. Now at 39.90, right there, that's a 100-point move at $5 a point. $500 per contract traded. Now, that's only one of the 6 triggers this alert gave us. And while all that was going on, don't forget that all this was going on. CTAs are based on historic price action. Logic 247 around the clock, based on current price action. And the recap for the week so far, and we are in week 134 of Logic 247. We've issued a total of 84 alerts, 11 never triggered, 73 actionable, 8 stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, 11% of actionable alerts, better than normal. On a typical week, we'll see 20% get stopped out. Okay, so we'll run through the rest of these real quick because I know you guys all want to get off into your weekend. So let me get back to my CTAs. Okay, on the Russell, it's the next one on the list. We trade every market the same. Everything we do, everything we teach is fluid across all markets and all time frames. So last night's CTA for the Russell was to be long 22.55, and we've not made it up into that neighborhood yet. The short side was 21.70. 21.70. And that's right here. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. So from 21.70 we dropped to 21.60. That's 10 points at $50 a point, $500 per contract traded. We got back above the trigger, triggered again. This time we dropped from 21.70 to 21.60. We'll call it 63. So that's 7 points, $50 a point, $350 per contract traded. Then we got back above the trigger. Down we came again. This time from 21.70 we put in a low 2161, so that's 9 points, $50 a point, $450 per contract traded. 1 trigger, 2 trigger, 3 triggers, 1 alert. Okay, next on my list is crude oil. We're super transparent with everything we do. From the live trades we put on and take off in the morning in the live training room, all of the alerts come out well before price triggers, because our goal is not to just give you alerts to trade. The purpose of the alert is for you to practice what you learn in the room. And so I'm finding these windows of opportunity, publishing them in the alert channel so that you can go and practice what Michael has been teaching you. But our main goal is that you will get to a point where you're able to spot these opportunities yourself based upon the principles we teach you. So in the beginning, when I publish an alert, it's alerting you to an opportunity. But as time passes, when the telegram alarm goes off on the little app on your phone, on your tablet, your PC, or your Mac, instead of being an alert, it will actually become a confirmation. Because if you're sitting there looking at the chart, you saw the opportunity yourself as it was developing. So we reach a point where you don't need me to show you the window of opportunity because you can see it yourself. You just have to be taught how. 9 out of 10 traders fail because they don't have anyone to teach them. Now, there's different methods of teaching. You can watch an instructor at the front of the classroom. You can watch videos. Those are all acceptable methods of teaching. But I haven't used my auto mechanic analogy in a while, so I'll pull that out today. Let's say you had a desire to become an auto mechanic. You could go to a technical school where it's a classroom, there's an instructor up front, he's got a big V8 engine setting up on the table, and he takes that engine apart piece by piece. He identifies each part, explains to you what it does, sets it aside till he's completely disassembled it. Then he assembles that engine piece by piece, again explaining to you what each part does till he's got the engine completely reassembled and he starts it up. No doubt you're going to learn a lot. But imagine if you could go to a slightly different technical school where, along with the instructor having a big engine on the table in front of him, you too had a big engine on the table in front of you. And so as he took off the air filter, I don't know if cars even have air filters anymore, I guess they do. As he was taking it off and explaining what it was and how it worked, you would be taking off the air filter on the engine on your table. And then as he took out the carburetor, which I guess things are fuel injected today, but you get the idea. Everything he does, you do it too with the engine that's right in front of you till it's all tore apart. Then as he starts rebuilding it piece by piece, explaining what he's doing, you too are reassembling that engine, following along with the instructor. Now at the end of the day, end of the quarter, end of the semester, whatever, which mechanic would you rather have work on your car? The one that watched the instructor do it, or the one, because in that environment with an instructor, you could at least ask questions. So Tech School 1, you have an instructor where you can ask questions, but you don't have an engine. He does. Tech School number 2, you just watch videos, and if you have questions, you gotta like send in a support ticket or some other kind of crazy thing, and then wait maybe a day or two for a response. Or Tech School number 3, where it's a live instructor, he's got an engine, you've got an engine, you're taking them apart, putting them back together again, together in an interactive environment. Which guy do you want working on your car? That answer is pretty simple, right? And that's our teaching model. We don't want you to just sit and watch us trade. That's why we make sure you have a simulator, a demo account. So every time we do something, every time we put out an alert, you do it too. But you do it in the demo account so you don't lose your hard-earned money. You have to put together those 10. You don't have to. It's your trading business. You can do whatever you want. But we're going to suggest and tell you again and again and again, don't go live till you've put together 10 consecutive days in a row. Once you do that, and you go live with just one, now you need to earn enough money, profit, to afford to trade two. And then you're going to earn enough money to trade three. And then 4 and 5, etc. Okay? All right. So on the Russell, 22, I know we're on crude now, 64.10 was the long side, which we never got to. The short side was 63.10 right here. So the first trigger, we made it down 62.85. So that's $250 per contract traded. Sorry, there's a loud FedEx truck outside. And then price gets back above the trigger. Does it again. Okay. This time we dropped to 62.60. So that's $500 per contract traded. But you see the trigger is below the BBC. But it changes over here. The trigger's above the BBC. When price is above the BBC, we don't want to sell. Price has to be below the BBC to sell. So while these are triggers, not all triggers are created equal. Okay? So that's a good trigger. That's a good trigger. But here, different story. Now, we get a leg, we get a retracement. The market finds resistance. Once the market finds resistance, price can go no higher because nobody will pay the next tick up, which in this case would be 62.88. Price starts to drop, sellers come in, they go to work, they drive it down. And once you understand our methodology and strategy, you don't have to wait for an alert or a CTA. Okay. Once price closed back below the BBC, you'd sell the open of this candle, 62.61. And from 62.61, it dropped to 61.71. From 62.60, see where my cursor is? 62.60 to 61.60. That's $1,000 per contract traded. Now, it didn't make it all the way on this one. It only made it to 61.80. So that's $800 per contract traded. And it came back up to resistance. Down we go again. And this time it made it to just below 61.50. And this is all inclusive. You know, when you become a passport holder, not only do you have the training room every day, you have all the alerts round the clock, the CTAs, the logic, the indicators. It's a lifetime membership. You'll never buy another trading thing from us once you become a passport holder. All right, so the next on my list is the NQ. We're almost done here. Okay. So the CTA last night for the NQ was to be long 13.035. 13. Come on. $13.035. Now notice how on that first almost triggered, it walked up to the CTA, didn't like what it saw, and reversed. The swing high of this candle was 13.032, and the trigger 13.035. So we didn't trigger on that first move. On the second move we did. And where do we expect resistance? At the weekly zone overhead. So from 35 we traveled up to just call it 85 to be conservative. From 35 to 85, that's 50 points at $20 a point. That's $1,000 per contract traded. If you've earned the right to trade 2 contracts, it's $2 grand. Price gets back below the trigger, triggers again. This time it only makes it up to 58. That's still 20 points at $20 a point, or $400 per contract traded. And if price can get through this resistance at the step line and this resistance here and through this trend line, which has already been violated, then there's potentially another trigger. But these highs are potential resistance, final trade to target. Okay, the last one is gold. Well, we'll look at silver too, because we had a big move in silver today. A big move in gold. On gold, the CTA was to be short 1762. Right here. So from 1762, we dropped to 56, so $600 per contract traded. Back above the trigger, another $600 per contract traded. This one, you had potential support below, so I'd pass on that one. Okay. Then we go back to red and falling. So trigger, trigger, and this trigger from 1662 to 1722. It's $4,000 per contract traded. And it went a little bit further. I said $4,000 per contract traded. That one alert right there almost paid for your passport. One alert. How many alerts have we issued? That's a great question. Since we started Logic 247 134 weeks ago, 6,647. And this is all available to the public. Okay, we don't keep this locked behind closed doors in a safe somewhere because you might steal our trade secret. That's nonsense. People that tell you that stuff, I'm sorry, they insulted your intelligence. It's a shame. We don't put on airs. We don't try to be anybody that we're not. We don't waste your time. And we don't think we're greedy. The labor's worthy of his wages. The one-on-one mentoring that we offer, some people, that one-on-one mentoring turns out to be like email exchanges. We actually log into a GoToMeeting environment where you can see my charts. If you want, I can see your charts. We walk through the trades. We actually teach you. And the discussion group is open 24/7, 365. So if you need some help at 2 a.m. in the morning, chances are somebody's hanging out there, one of our traders, who can help you. If I'm not there, if Michael's not there, if Valor's not there. We've been doing this since 2005. Now, in the beginning, Michael and I were about as lost as anybody else. We owned every indicator and oscillator in the world, and when we ran out of stuff to buy, we started rolling our own. But we were always one mouse click away from greatness. And we finally, thank God, realized that we were on the wrong path. Adding more stuff was not going to fix the problem. We had to start getting rid of stuff. Now, it's hard to get rid of an indicator you paid a lot of money for, but it's even harder to get rid of an indicator that you spent months writing code for. But we decided if it doesn't contribute to the bottom line, it's got to come off the chart. Until we reduced everything down to the 2 simple indicators and the third one, the slingshot that Michael uses in the training room. That's it. You don't need anything else. People will try to convince you do. But at the end of the day, you kind of know the truth. All that more stuff, did it help? If it did, then I'm happy. Now, we enjoy teaching. We enjoy seeing people learn how to trade and grow and be able to fund the ministries that they're involved in, right? We get personal satisfaction from that, but please hear this. It's an income stream. It's a business model. It's biblical that a man should have multiple income streams. Scripture says 7, okay? Now, the more income streams you can create under the umbrella of knowledge that you possess, the better. I mean, I could go open a sandwich shop. Well, that's not a good example because I used to own a sandwich shop. I could go open an auto mechanic repair business, but I don't know anything about fixing cars. So that's probably not that smart. I do understand a few things about the markets. So the more income streams I can create under the umbrella of the markets, then that's probably the best way for me to try to build my multiple income streams. Now, I've heard people on my side of the microphone before say stuff like, well, you know, markets have been so good to me, I just want to give back, or God's been so good to me, I just want to give back. And you know what? If that's really the truth, then God bless them. Their heart might be bigger than mine, okay? I'm sure lots of people have bigger hearts than mine. So we do it because it gives us personal satisfaction, but we also do it, make no mistake, we also do it because we get paid to do it. People pay us. I'm doing the work anyway, so why not share it with someone? And the people you'll meet in our discussion group, this is powerful. Right here. You have access to this discussion group, okay? This is where people, our traders, are hanging out round the clock. When somebody has a good trade, ding ding, they ring the bell. People pile in. Good job, Jimmy. Thanks, Owen. Imagine a world, if you can, where there's no more indicators or oscillators or magic recipes, just logic. That's the truth about trading. You'll get to meet and know all of these people. I see great friendships being developed. When somebody has a rough day, there's people here to encourage them. When somebody has a great day, there's someone here to help them celebrate. We share our trades, our ups, our downs, and when we want to talk about stuff other than trading, we go here to the CFRN Breeze channel. That's where we go to just shoot the breeze about everything from politics to the weather and everything in between. Music, our favorite song, you name it. The other channel we talk about trading. This channel we shoot the breeze. And you are invited to become a part of our family. Just go to eminifuturestrading.com. With a couple mouse clicks, you'll become a passport holder, lifetime membership. Valerie will today send you out a ton of information. All the links, all the invitations, all the passwords, help you get your chart set up, your indicator set up, everything that you need to be able to hit the ground running with us Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, when the global markets open. And now, time for our good word for the day. This is how we end each and every broadcast. Today we're going to talk about focusing on the solution, not the problem. Sometimes we get hyper-focused on the problem and never arrive at the solution. Isaiah 30:15 says, in quietness and confidence, that shall be your strength. As problems arise in our relationships, you'll be forced to become a translator, a negotiator, a diplomat, a peacekeeper. And good communication skills are essential. Nothing is more frustrating than being misunderstood, misheard, ignored, or misconstrued. Talking isn't always the answer. Sometimes it exacerbates the problem. Our mistake is we're often too wordy about the issue itself. In other words, we talk about it when we should be quiet and focus on a solution. God has given you the gifts you need to change the situation. So don't talk about it, do it. Don't be just a hearer of the word, be a doer of the word. If we misuse words or talk out of hand, it can lead us away from a solution we would otherwise see. James tells us what we say has immense power for destruction. James 3:5 says, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. Just our tone of voice can escalate a conversation into a raging fire. Don't be the person with flames coming out of your mouth. Tame your tongue. Grab hold of the situation when it arises and bring light and life to it. Our conversations are to be seasoned with grace. You might jot this down, Colossians 4:6. Study that. Speak positively, because God is still on the throne and he still has a plan. Responding appropriately often requires quietness and then careful reflection. Sometimes we just have to be still and know that he is God. In other words, sometimes it's better to just shut up. When you're anxious, chances are you'll overtalk. When you're angry, you'll probably make the situation worse. And when you're too aggressive, you'll lose instead of winning. The Bible says, in quietness and confidence shall be your strength. And that's a scriptural principle that always works. And that's our good word for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.